You don't want to lose weight. You want to be the kind of person who doesn't hate what they see in the mirror. You don't want to meditate more. You want to be the kind of person who doesn't spiral every time something goes wrong. You don't want to save money. You want to be the kind of person who isn't one bad month away from panic. January 1st, you know the drill. You write the list. Lose 20 pounds. Meditate daily. Read 50 books. Finally get your life together. By February, that list is in a drawer, collecting dust next to last year's list. And the year before that. And you're exactly who you were in December. Goals don't fail. They just don't touch the part of you that decides. The Buddha never taught goal setting. He never said achieve enlightenment by December 31st. He taught something completely different. He taught transformation, becoming, identity shift. So before you write another resolution that'll be dead by Valentine's Day, let me show you what the Buddha actually taught about change. Because 2026 isn't about what you do, it's about who you become. February 12th. Your gym membership hasn't been touched in 3 weeks. The meditation app you downloaded with so much hope, deleted. The meal prep containers you bought, still in the Amazon box. How did we get here so fast? Look at the numbers that hurt. Most resolutions die fast. Some research puts the success rate in single digits, and you don't need a study to know it. You've lived it. A lot of people make the same resolution again and again for years, writing, lose weight, eat better, exercise more, year after year after year. And here's the one that really stings. For decades, the same resolutions keep winning. Lose weight, eat better, exercise more, and nothing changes. We're doing this backwards. So why do goals fail? Not because the goals are bad, not because you're weak, because of how goals are structured. Goals measure results, not process. Lose 20 pounds is an outcome. It tells you nothing about who you need to become to get there. Goals create binary thinking, success or failure, win or lose. Nothing in between. You either hit the number or you didn't. And if you hit it, then what? I call this the wedding diet syndrome. You lose 30 pounds for your wedding. You look amazing in the photos. 6 months later, you've gained it all back. Because the goal was the wedding, not becoming someone who values health. But there's something even worse happening under the surface, the psychological trap nobody sees. When you set goals, you're making promises for future you. Present you, sitting here on December 31st feeling motivated, writes down all these commitments, and you imagine this disciplined, energized, unstoppable version of yourself that's going to show up on January 15th. But future you doesn't exist yet. Future you wakes up on January 15th, tired after a bad night's sleep, stressed about work, unmotivated. Future you is still you. The same person with the same patterns, the same habits, the same identity. And that version of you breaks the promise present you made. Here's a modern example you'll recognize. You resolve to cook healthy meals. Day 1, success, chicken breast and roasted vegetables. You feel great. Day 7, you're exhausted after work. You open the fridge, see the ingredients you bought. Think about chopping vegetables for 20 minutes. Close the fridge, open your phone. Thai food arrives in 30 minutes. What failed? The goal was clear. Cook healthy meal, you knew what to do, but your identity never changed. You're still someone who orders takeout when tired, and no amount of goal setting changes that. The resolution graveyard isn't full of lazy people. It's full of people who set goals without changing who they are. And that brings us to the part nobody wants to hear. Stop here for a second. This is going to be uncomfortable. Every resolution you broke then wasn't a mistake. It was honesty. You didn't fall off. You didn't lose motivation. You didn't get busy. You returned to who you actually are. Picture this. It's February 16th. You're driving home from work, exhausted. You pass your gym. the one you swore you'd go to every day. There's a parking spot right in front, and you keep driving. Not because you forgot, because in that moment your real identity made the choice, and the real you, the one built by years of pattern, chose the couch. The gym membership you stopped using, that wasn't failure, that was your real self showing up. The meditation app you deleted after 3 days, not weakness, truth. The diet you quit in February, you didn't quit, you admitted something. Your real identity isn't what you announce on January 1st. It's what you do when the day punches you in the mouth. You're the person who chooses comfort when it gets hard, who hits snooze, orders takeout, scrolls instead of reads. That's not your failure. That's your training showing. And here's the part that really stings. Goals don't change that. They just let you feel productive without actually becoming different. You write the resolution. You feel motivated for 48 hours. You tell people about your plans. Then you return to pattern. Because patterns are who you are, and goals are just fantasies about who you wish you were. Think about it. Your brain already knows this. That's why you feel cynical writing resolutions. That's why there's that voice in the back of your head saying, "Yeah, right, like this time will be different." Your brain has the data, years of failed attempts. It knows the truth before you write the first word. Good. Now we can work with the truth, because training starts where you actually are. The Buddha figured this out 2,500 years ago, and it's not what you think. The Buddha never said achieve enlightenment. He said walk the path. Destination versus direction. Outcome versus becoming. Because here's what matters. Karma isn't about reward and punishment. It's about becoming. If you watched our video, What is Karma in Buddhism? You know karma literally means action. Kama in Pali, the Buddha's language. But it's not just physical action. It's mental action, intentional patterns, repeated choices. Every action you take, you're training yourself. Every thought you repeat, you're building neural pathways. Every choice you make, you're voting for who you are. The Dhammapada verses 1 and 2 says it clearly. Mind precedes all mental states. Mind is their chief. They are all mind-wrought. The Buddha doesn't say you manifest your life. He says mind goes first, mind leads, and your actions follow that mind like a cart behind an ox. Identity is the sum of repeated mental patterns. The Buddha called these patterns sankhara, mental formations, habitual patterns that build who you are. Think of sankhara like grooves in a record. Every time you play the same song, the groove gets deeper. Eventually, the needle falls into that groove automatically. That's your identity, neural grooves worn deep by repetition. And here's what's radical about this. You're not a fixed self with bad habits. You're not a broken person who needs to be fixed. You're a process, constantly forming, constantly becoming. This is cause and effect. Repeat a pattern long enough and it starts repeating you. The Buddha built an entire training system around this, the Noble Eightfold Path. Most people think it's a checklist of things to do, 8 steps to enlightenment. That's not what it is. The path isn't a personality test, but it does train a way of seeing, speaking, acting, until it becomes natural. Right view. Be someone who sees clearly. Right intention. Be someone with wise motivations. Right speech. Be someone who speaks with care. Right action. Be someone whose actions align with values. Right livelihood. Be someone who earns ethically. Right effort. Be someone who tries skillfully. Right mindfulness. Be someone who stays present. Right concentration. Be someone with a trained mind. Notice the language. Not do right speech. Be someone who speaks rightly. And when I say identity, I don't mean a permanent self. I mean a direction of training, a set of tendencies. Here's an example. You don't achieve right speech by never lying again. That's goal thinking. You become someone for whom truth-telling is natural. First, it's hard. You have to think about it. You catch yourself before you lie. Then it's practiced. You're building the pattern. Truth becomes easier. Then it's who you are. Lying doesn't even occur to you anymore. Set goals if you want. Just don't confuse a number with a new mind. Goals can point. Identity must carry. The Buddha built a framework for becoming someone. One action at a time, one pattern at a time, one identity shift at a time. That's why it's lasted 2,500 years while every self-help trend dies in 18 months. So what does this actually look like in practice? Two people want to quit smoking. First person says, I'm trying to quit. Second person says, I'm not a smoker. Guess who succeeds? The second person, because I'm trying to quit, is goal language. I'm not a smoker is identity language. Goals say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Identity says, I'm someone who moves daily. Goals say, I want to save $10,000. Identity says, I'm someone who values financial security. Goals say, I want to read more. Identity says, I'm a reader. You feel the difference. One is external, something you're trying to achieve. The other is internal, something you're becoming. Goals say, I have to do this. That's obligation, that's force, that requires willpower. Identity says, this is who I am. That's alignment, that's natural, that's automatic. Let me give you a way to understand this. Think of every action as a vote. One workout, that's one vote for I'm athletic. One meditation session, that's one vote for I'm calm. One honest conversation, that's one vote for I'm trustworthy. One healthy meal, one vote for I'm someone who values health. You don't need to win every vote, nobody's perfect. You just need to win most votes. And this is exactly how karma works. Karma isn't do good things and get rewarded. Karma is repeat actions and become that person. You're not earning a better life. You're building a different self. Here's a real-world example. Two people both want to be writers. The first person sets a goal. Write a novel this year. They write when they feel motivated, when inspiration strikes, when they have time. That's sporadic, maybe once a week, maybe once a month. By December, they have 30 pages and a lot of excuses. The second person doesn't set a goal. They claim an identity. I'm a writer. And writers write every day, even when they don't feel like it, even when it's bad, because that's what writers do. By December, they have a finished draft, not because they're more talented, because they became someone who writes. Here's another one. Two people want financial security. First person sets a goal, save $5,000 by December. They save when there's money left over at the end of the month, which is almost never. By December, they've saved maybe $800. Second person claims identity. I'm someone who invests in my future. They pay themselves first. Every paycheck, before bills, before fun. 10% goes to savings. Automatic, non-negotiable. By December, they have $6,000. Not because they earn more, because they became someone who prioritizes their future. Your goals tell you where you want to go. Your identity determines if you get there. So how do you actually build identity? You're not trying to become someone new. You're already becoming someone. The question is who? Let me tell you about the most extreme identity shift in Buddhist scripture. Angulimala was a serial killer. He killed 999 people, wore their fingers as a necklace. His identity, I'm a murderer. That's who he was. Years of violence, years of reinforcement. That pattern was deep. One day he encounters the Buddha, and something shifts. He chooses differently. He didn't achieve nonviolence. He didn't set a goal to kill fewer people. He became a monk, someone for whom killing was no longer thinkable. And even after he changed, the world didn't magically forgive him. He still faced the consequences. People threw stones at him, refused to give him food. But his mind stopped feeding the old identity. If he can make that shift, you can become someone who doesn't hit snooze. You can become someone who doesn't order takeout every night. You can become someone who shows up. Here's how the mechanics work. Every action you take reinforces a pattern. Every pattern you repeat strengthens an identity. You're doing it anyway. Let me break down the 3 types of karma applied to identity. Past karma, your current identity. Everything you are right now is the result of past actions, years of patterns, years of choices, years of training. I'm not a morning person. That's years of hitting snooze. I'm bad with money. That's years of impulsive spending. I'm anxious. That's years of rumination, of catastrophizing, of mental loops. This is your starting point, not your end point. Present karma, your daily votes. Right now, every choice is a vote. Scroll TikTok for 3 hours, vote for I'm distracted. Read for 20 minutes, vote for I'm a reader. Skip the gym, vote for I'm sedentary. Show up anyway, vote for I'm disciplined. Your identity is democratic, majority wins. Future karma, where you're headed. You're going somewhere based on your current votes. If 80% of your actions say I'm healthy, you're becoming healthy. If 20% of your actions say I'm healthy, your patterns know the truth. And here's the neuroscience connection, because this isn't just ancient wisdom, it's how your brain works. Neuroplasticity is real. Repetition rewires the brain, not overnight, not in a weekend, through thousands of small, boring reps. The Buddha called this sankhara. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. You are what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally do, not what you intend to do, what you repeatedly do. Karma isn't punishing you for who you were, it's training you into who you're becoming. And every single action is either reinforcing the old identity or building the new one. The question isn't, can I change? The question is, what am I changing into? So what does this look like when you're staring at a blank page on January 1st? Don't ask, what do I want to achieve in 2026? Ask, who am I voting to become? Because you're already voting, every day, every choice. Here's an uncomfortable exercise. Look at your last 7 days, not what you intended to do, not what you wish you did, what you actually did. Those actions are votes. Count them honestly. Who are you becoming physically? How did you move? What did you eat? Not once, repeatedly. Who are you becoming mentally? What did you consume? What did you think about? Where did your attention go? Who are you becoming relationally? How did you treat people? How did you show up in conversations? What patterns repeated? The pattern is already there. You're already becoming someone. Is it who you want to be? Now reframe the goal into identity. Not, I want to lose weight, but I'm someone who values health. Not, I want to be less anxious, but I'm someone with a calm mind. Not, I want to be successful, but I'm someone who shows up consistently. The Buddha gave us 5 identity anchors, the 5 precepts. Most people think these are rules. They're not. They're identity statements. I'm someone who protects life, not I won't kill. I'm someone who respects others' property, not I won't steal. I'm someone who honors commitments, not I won't cheat. I'm someone who speaks truth, not I won't lie. I'm someone with a clear mind, not I won't get intoxicated. These aren't commandments, they're descriptions of who you're becoming. And identity doesn't require massive action. It requires consistent action. The size of the action doesn't matter, the consistency does. But expect resistance. Your old identity will fight the new one. I'm not a runner versus I'm someone who runs. The gap between them creates friction, discomfort, doubt. That friction is the practice. That's where transformation happens. Here's a modern example most people live without realizing it. I'm someone who checks my phone first thing in the morning. That's the current identity for most people. 365 days a year. First thing you do is grab your phone. We even have research showing that what you do on your phone in the morning can change your cortisol response after waking. It literally shifts your stress chemistry before you've said a word to another human. That's 365 votes per year for I'm reactive. Alternative identity. I'm someone who starts the day intentionally. Don't touch your phone for 30 minutes after waking. Same 365 days. Completely different person. 365 votes for I'm intentional. And no, this isn't building a permanent self. Buddhism doesn't sell you a new ego. It trains patterns that reduce suffering. Your 2026 resolutions will fail. Your 2026 identity won't. Because resolutions are promises, identity is training. And training, done consistently, becomes who you are. So what actually happens on January 1st? Most people felt motivated. New year, new energy, fresh start. That feeling is gone now, isn't it? And that's exactly when this matters most. First, reframe the day. January 1st isn't a fresh start. It's not a reset button. It's a marker. A day when collective culture reminds you to be intentional. You're not becoming someone new. You're becoming aware of who you're already becoming. Buddhism has a practice for this. Uposatha days. Days of intensified practice. Not start over. Recalibrate intentionally. Think of January 1st as your Uposatha. Maybe you already wrote something down on January 1st. Maybe you didn't. Either way, here's what matters right now. Not what you wrote a few days ago, but who you're voting to become today. Not what you're going to achieve, who you're going to be. Then cast one vote, not a big gesture, not a dramatic commitment. A small, clear action aligned with who you want to become. Tomorrow morning, or this morning, or right now, before your next distraction, take 10 slow breaths and choose one vote. Want to be someone who values health? Move for 10 minutes, that's it. One vote. Want to be someone with a calm mind? Sit in silence for 2 minutes, one vote. Want to be someone who reads? Read one page, one vote. Here's a test you can use anytime. If you can't do something for 2 minutes, you won't do it for 20. The action proves the identity, not the other way around. The first day doesn't matter that much. The first week does. Vote once, interesting. Vote 7 times, pattern. Vote 30 times, identity. Now the middle way, not perfection, that's impossible. Not giving up, that's pointless. The middle, consistent small votes. Miss a day? You haven't failed, you cast a different vote. Tomorrow you vote again. Remember that uncomfortable truth from earlier? Every failed resolution was just honesty about who you were. January 1st is your chance to be honest about who you're building. Remember from our video, 7 signs you've lived before, patterns carry across lifetimes. You're literally training your future self, not just 2026 you, every lifetime you. January 1st isn't the day you become someone new. It's the day you become aware of who you're building. And every day after that, you vote. The Buddha said in the Dhammapada, mind precedes all mental states. He didn't say it happens overnight. He didn't say it's easy. He said it happens through training, through action, through becoming. 2026 isn't about achieving more. It's about being honest about who you're already becoming and choosing whether that's who you want to be. You'll become someone in 2026. You have been for years. You're becoming someone right now. The question isn't whether you'll be different in 2026. You will be. The question is whether you chose it or let it happen. Your life is a ballot box, and you vote with your thumbs, your feet, your mouth, every day. If this changed how you're thinking about New Year's resolutions, hit subscribe. We break down Buddhist wisdom for real life, not just philosophy. Drop a comment with one identity you're building in 2026. not a goal, an identity. I'm someone who. You're already becoming someone.